On the previous episode of Going North, we left you with the beautiful and spectacular views of the top of the world highway. One of our favorite and most scenic drives of the whole trip. Before we reached the Alaska border, we stopped to check out something kind of cool and also take care of some unfinished business.
So we pull over because we saw snow. Check it out. Snow. And we did see some more probably about 20 minutes back on the side of the mountain. So we stopped and we check out this snow, but it's not snow. It's salt. So it's probably from highway maintenance. And they dumped this here. See another one way over there. I wish you could see a dot for every piece of wildlife that's out here. That'd be cool to see.
So we can't bring fireworks over the border, and we're about to leave over the border in a couple minutes, so what are we doing?
We are going to light off all our remaining fireworks, and these are just a whistler with a pop, nothing major. So,
And it's July 4th.
And it's July 4th, so we're celebrating their holiday.
Just before we get there.
Yep.
That's a lot of fireworks to go off at once.
Just hope I can get these fuses. What if I can tie them together or twist them together? Ready?
Okay.
Okay, it worked.
Happy 4th of July.
Minor.
So we kept moving, and very little traffic on this highway as well as the Alaska highway, another real bonus of driving up north. There you go, folks. We have real snow. Top of the world highway, July 4th. Unlike that salt we found earlier. The last few miles approaching the border, we gained a serious amount of elevation and even more views to see. And before long, we could see the border crossing.
Oh, there's the border. Wow.
That's where the border is, so they gotta put her right up high. What a view here.
We made it to Alaska.
Oh, look at the wonderful pavement. But apparently
So
it doesn't
cool.
last long.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it gets worse in the Canadian side. But apparently after this pavement ends, I don't know how far it is, then it's just crap.
Okay. Well, we'll see, I guess.
That is a major milestone. Major milestone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finally did it.
Border
guard was a super guy.
Poker Creek, Alaska. Check.
Apparently there's a creek up there.
I don't think so.
I've never seen it.
But we made it. We
Yes!
got to Alaska.
Woo! Wow. So, I think Chris McCandless would be proud. This has been a hell of an adventure so far.
So now the highway makes a long, gradual descent in elevation, and we get back down below the tree line. Up at the border there were basically no trees because we were above the tree line. Our next stop, Chicken, Alaska. Yes, it's a town named Chicken.
It's a big chicken, huh?
That's Big Chicken. So we made it to Chicken, Alaska. We're almost done the top of the world highway. And from now on it's pavement, thankfully. The last, I don't know, maybe hour was fairly rough and narrow gravel road. No guardrails, steep cliffs. Not quite as scenic as the border area and the Canadian side. The Canadian side is very, very scenic, especially approaching the border. It was just amazing. So That was another one. Check off the box. Top of the world highway.
So our goal now is to rejoin the Alaska Highway. We finish the top of the world highway and we start heading west towards Tok, Alaska. This is where we hope to find a place to camp. We did manage to find a quiet place to camp, but it was some kind of a garbage dump or dumping grounds for the locals. There was appliances and mattresses and all kinds of stuff, but we did find a clear spot to set up our tents, and we had a nice peaceful night there. Our first stop the next morning was Delta Junction, Alaska. This is where the construction of the Alaska Highway during World War II was complete. So to us, this was a real significant place to check out.
So Ryan, I know we haven't driven the entire route yet,
Right.
but we made it to the end. We started at the beginning of the Alaska Highway. Now we've made it to the end of the Alaska Highway. How are we feeling?
We did skip the center section going up to
But
Dawson, but we're going to take the full route on the way back.
Yeah.
So this is another milestone, another box to check off for us. Is end of the Alaska Highway, or the Alcan Highway as they first called it. So yeah, it's a good feeling.
On to Fairbanks.
On to Fairbanks.
Had a relatively uneventful drive for the next hour or so until we got to a cool town called North Pole, where they had a real Santa Claus and Christmas theme.
The official North Pole.
A lot of the light standards and signposts were painted with stripes so they looked like candy canes.
Candy canes. That's how low on gas we are. And we're rolling into North Pole, Alaska. Hopefully we make it to the gas station. It's about another mile. On fumes. And we're
Here's to
just
the gas
rolling into the pumps.
Our goal in Fairbanks was to find a place to shower and get a change of clothes, so we stopped at a gym and took care of that. We got some groceries, made a few phone calls, and then we headed back out on the highway towards the Stampede Trail. And we were so exhausted. We'd been driving 9 to 10 hours per day, taking turns. And other than Dawson City, we did this every day. So we were super tired, had to take a break. So we pulled over at one point and took a rest.
We are 2 kilometers from the Stampede Road, which leads to the bus. This has been a lot of years in waiting, and I never expected that I would get here. Never, not in a million years. So a bit of a surreal moment here. This is where Chris McCandless got a ride onto the Stampede Road. I can see the sign right now.
This was a huge accomplishment for us, the Stampede Road. I'd been looking at this road on Google Earth for years, always wondering what was it like. And now we're on it. It's an 8-mile drive to the location where Chris was dropped off so he could start walking. Earlier when we were in Fairbanks, we made some phone calls and we booked a helicopter to take us out the next day to the bus. And our plan was to spend 24 hours at the bus, and the company was willing to do that for us. When Chris went down this road, it would have been end of April, there would have been a lot of snow, and here we are midsummer, so the road was clear. There were a lot of potholes and that kind of thing, which would slow us down. And the road was generally in okay condition, but in the winter, you would likely need a 4-wheel drive.
What are you feeling right now, Ryan?
I am feeling thankful to this car for getting us all the way the hell here without a single problem. Nothing went wrong. Absolutely nothing. It restores my faith in myself as a self-taught mechanic.
You are the psychic mechanic.
I am the psychic mechanic. Rob Ruttman coined the phrase. I will credit him now and forever after. Yes. And as a filmmaker, we are here. Again, I did not expect to get out here, ever. And especially when I finished reading the book. The movie made a big impact, and then the book just solidified in me. It's like, I would love to get there, but I'll never be able to do it. I just never thought it would be possible.
And now we're 1.5 kilometers away.
It's crazy. I'm still in shock.
Look at this trail. Wow. I guess it's still a road, but...
So the bus is somewhere out there.
Eventually you get to the end of the road where the state no longer maintains it, and this was as close as we could get to the spot where Jim Gallion dropped off Chris. The real spot I eventually found out was 2 miles past this point. We went a little bit farther down the road just to see how far we could get, and we ended up getting up to a pretty big water hole right in the middle of the road, so we knew we couldn't go any farther, so we went back up to the top of the hill.
Yeah, it's a little patch there, yeah.
Once we parked and got settled in a bit, I took a short walk just to have a look at 8 Mile Lake and to really soak in where we were and how important it was to the Chris McCandless story.
I'm almost speechless right now. We are at 8 Mile Lake. This is roughly where Chris started walking. He hitched a ride from Fairbanks and wanted to go down the Stampede Trail. And right where the car is parked, we're going to camp there overnight. And tomorrow we pack up, drive into town, and the helicopter is going to take us to the bus. So we wanted to experience where Chris walked into the wild. And what's most remarkable, and it's difficult to explain other than it is utterly silent out here. I can hear a few insects and a bird. But if you just take a second and listen out here, there is nothing. So if anyone wanted to get out away from civilization, this would be the place to do it. So it's about 11:30 and it's still daylight because we are in the land of the midnight sun. And up this way here is where Chris McCandless started walking. We're camped just at the top of this little hill. And anyways, we couldn't drive any further because of this stuff. You need an ATV or a big truck to get through that. Anyways, it's quite the sight here. The sun just set below that mountain over here. You still got some magic hour lighting on the hills over here. It's beautiful. And there's old Mount McKinley that McCandless would have wanted to go to, but was too far away. Highest mountain in North America.
In 1992, Chris McCandless headed west from here and walked into the wild.
Well, today's the day.
Yeah.
Heading to the bus.
Making movies.
Making movies
Heading
and
to the bus.
yeah. How are you feeling?
Good. No issues. I'm not even nervous. Bit excited. Yeah, I think I'm going to be really pumped when that helicopter lifts off.
And this is your first time in a helicopter
First
too.
time. Yeah. So.
Are you nervous?
well, I'm not. I'm good. We've talked to the pilot. She seems really straight up, organized and professional, and yep, we're going to do this.
So we're gonna be flying over Denali National Park
Yes.
and heading to bus 142. This is what we've come here to do.
It's been a long time coming.
Long time indeed. Here we go.
Okay.